Shalom Aleichem. Parsha Tazria is the name of our reading this week. Our reading starts with a woman conceiving a man-child. We are at Leviticus 12 verse 2. Speak to the children of Israel, saying, when a woman has conceived and has given birth to a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. As in the days of a monthly separation, she is unclean. And on the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin is circumcised. That's now the child. So the man-child is circumcised on the 8th day. According to the covenant made with our forefathers, Abraham, Elohim includes the child in this covenant of the circumcision. What does this covenant entail? We read in Genesis 17 verse 5 and onwards. Firstly, Avram's name is changed to Avraham. So that's quite interesting. So there is a name change. Verse 7, and it's an everlasting covenant. Verse 8, the covenant includes all the land of Canaan as an everlasting possession, and I shall be your Elohim. Verse 9, guard my covenant. It's a command to guard this covenant. Verse 10, this is my covenant. Every male child among you is to be circumcised. And then verse 11, and you shall circumcise the flesh of the foreskin. It shall become a sign of the covenant between me and you. Verse 12, and a son of 8 days is circumcised by you, every male child in your generation. In the old Israel, they had a tradition to start teaching children Hebrew letters at the age of 4. The child's hair would not be cut till the age of 4 years old as well. Question: what has this got to do with circumcision? In Leviticus 19, we find the rule in connection with the trees of circumcision. It's verse 23. And when you come into the land, the promised land, and have planted all kinds of trees for food, then you shall reckon their fruit as uncircumcised. For 3 years it is as uncircumcised to you. It is not eaten. And in the 4th year all its fruit is set apart. Praises to Yahweh. Verse 25, and in the 5th year you eat its fruit, so that it increases its yield to you. I am Yahweh Elohim. The symbolism of trees as man plays a very important role in Scripture. We find this interesting passages in the Gospel of Mark, where Yeshua heals a blind man, and Yeshua, we are at Mark 8 verse 22. Mark 8 verse 22. And Yeshua, came to Bethsaida, and they brought a blind man to him and begged him to touch him. And taking the blind man by the hand, he led him out of the village. And having spit on his eyes, laying hands on him, he asked him, do you see at all? And the man looked up and said, I see men like trees walking. Then Yeshua placed his hands on the blind man's eyes again and made him look up, and he was restored and saw all clearly. We find tree symbolism for man throughout the Bible. In Leviticus 23, where the Sukkot festival, the lulav, is waved, that consists of a bouquet of plants and is a representation of all kinds of people that will be found included in the kingdom of heaven. We call this bouquet of plants a lulav because the largest part of it is the palm branch. We find this passage in Leviticus 23 verse 40. And you shall take for yourselves on the first day the fruit of good trees, branches of palm trees, twigs of leafy trees, and willows of the stream, and shall rejoice before Yahweh your Elohim for 7 days. The 4 species are comprised of 3 types of branches and 1 type of fruit. They are held together and waved in a special ceremony throughout Sukkot. The waving of the 4 plants is a command prescribed in Leviticus for the Sukkot period. One interpretation of the 4 species explain what while individuals express and perform their service to their master differently, that we are still unified in one people. So what it is saying is that every type of plant species represents a different type of person that we will find, in the kingdom to come. We start with the lulav. The lulav is the date palm, the branch. It has a tasty fruit but has no scent. It represents those who are knowledgeable in Torah but not as accomplished in doing the good deeds. The next species we find is the hadash, myrtle branch. It's tasteless but is aromatic. It represents lack of knowledge of Torah but diligently observant in good deeds. The arava, the willow branch, is both tasteless and scentless. It represents those who have neither knowledge in Torah nor any good deeds, but who nevertheless does have faith in Yeshua. The etrog, the citron, the fruit, have both pleasant taste and smell. It represents those who are both knowledgeable in Torah and proficient in observance of good deeds as commanded by Elohim. We bind all these plants together, just as all faithful are bound together in Yeshua. When bound together and shaken, they are all blended together, each supporting another as one. Continuing with the theme of trees, we find the parable as told by Yeshua as a warning to his disciples in Matthew 7, verse 15. Yeshua says, "But beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are savage wolves. But by their fruits you shall know them. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? So every good tree yields good fruit, but a rotten tree yields wicked fruit. A good tree is unable to yield wicked fruit, and a rotten tree to yield good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then, by their fruits you shall know them." So, we need to listen to the word spoken through revelation so that we can find wisdom in this world. But our time is limited. We read the parable told by Yeshua in Luke 13 verse 6. "And he spoke this parable," Yeshua. "A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came seeking fruit on it and found none. And he said to the gardener, 'Look, for 3 years I've come seeking fruit on this fig tree and find none. Cut it down. Why does it even make the ground useless? And he answering said to him, Master, leave it this year too, until I dig around it and throw manure. And if indeed it bears fruit, good, but if not so, you shall cut it down. So in conclusion, Scripture teaches us to circumcise ourselves, to allow the Ruach, the Spirit, to work in us, and so we can bear fruit to the glory of our Creator. Yeshua Yavo, soon Messiah will come. Amen.